Yo, what's going on, you guys? Braden KG back with another NFL video, of course, and happy new league year day. Today marks the official start of the new league year. That's hard to say, like, really fast. New league year, you see what I'm saying? Anyways, today is the official start of free agency and all that good stuff. Everything from the trades in recent, past few days, Jalen Ramsey, Darren Waller, all those trades happened officially. Finalized, all that good stuff today. Today has been a really good day. I'm making this video seconds after Miles Sanders just got signed to the Panthers. Holy, Carolina's getting a freaking stud in Miles Sanders. I'm so excited about this team right now. I don't know if you guys are as excited as I am, but this Panthers team is special. And we haven't even gotten our franchise quarterback yet. And that's just the whole point of this video, just to, kick us off. The main question here is, who does Carolina pick, actually, with the number 1 overall pick? Now, a lot of people would say, Bryce Young is just, the consensus number 1 overall pick. And a lot of people also, say CJ Stroud. Some people are saying Anthony Richardson because of how much potential he has and how much of a freaking athlete and freak athlete he is. And honestly, those are all valid choices. I mean, as a Panthers fan, I wouldn't really be against any of those picks. I'd be more against Anthony Richardson, definitely, because of, them trading all this stuff, DJ Moore, 2 firsts, 2 seconds to go up to number 1 overall, and they pick Anthony Richardson. There's definitely going to be a lot of people, just not going to be super happy with that and really disappointed in that front office decision. But we're going to have to wait and see. But that's what this video is all about, talking about who the Panthers should actually take. Definitely CJ Stroud, in my opinion. If you guys know me and you guys have been following me and subbed for the past few weeks, I've been a huge fan and a huge advocate of CJ Stroud. I love his game. He is an accurate passer. He is just elite in the pocket. He's such a good player. He's a good quarterback. That's why Ohio State was so good this year. I mean, he did have some good weapons to throw to. Marvin Harrison Jr. was really good. Jackson Smith-Njigba, who the Panthers could also get. CJ Stroud is just, I think my personal, favorite for the Panthers to draft. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. But there's a lot of people, like I've already said, Bryce Young, people would favor him. But the only thing is, obviously, he's short. He's shorter than a lot of these guys that the Panthers are looking into. Size, there's plenty of quarterbacks who have been short and have been legends. I mean, Drew Brees, that's just an easy one that comes off my mind. Drew Brees, hate him, but, legend, Hall of Famer. Drew Brees was a short king. He was really, really good. And I'm not saying, Bryce Young could come in and be Drew Brees. I am saying Bryce Young can come in and still be, good, even though he's shorter than a couple of these guys. But from the front office standpoint, and with all the coaches and all their experience, Josh McCown, Frank Reich, all these guys. I mean, Andy Dalton came in too. Surprise signing that they bring in Andy Dalton over Sam Darnold, you know what I'm saying? Because Sam Darnold went to San Francisco. Surprise signing because he's a vet quarterback. Great veteran quarterback signing. I like that signing. He's a quick 2-year. I think he's like 8 or 10 million. He's super cheap. He's a decent quarterback. Anyways, to bring in a guy like CJ Stroud and have all of this quarterback experience and all this veteran presence just around him. 4 years? Okay, that's a live reaction. I was reading my phone because it's right here. 4 years Miles Sanders was signed for. Oh my gosh. That's a live reaction. Okay. That super random. Let me get back to the video. Oh my goodness. Miles Sanders, man. 4 years for being a Panther. Oh, I'm so excited now. It really sucks about D'Onta Foreman. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so sidetracked. D'Onta Foreman, I really wanted the Panthers to sign, and obviously he wanted to be, come back as well. But the Panthers offered him a contract, Monday when the legal tampering period started. They offered him a contract just like Bradley Bozeman. Bradley Bozeman came back, but what's the deal with D'Onta Foreman? Well, some questions arise in my head. Maybe he doesn't want to come back because it didn't hire Steve Wilkes as the head coach, which is very valid. You always want, a guy that you support to come back. It sucks because he had such a good year, to just with McCaffrey leaving and having to, just come in and just play that such a big part, replace that in this offense. He did a really good job at doing that. He's not Christian McCaffrey, of course. I'm not saying he's Christian McCaffrey. I'm saying he filled in that spot very, very well. But back to the main video. I'm so sorry about that sidetrack. CJ Stroud coming in, and I think if he's the number 1 overall pick, I'm going to love that so much. I've been talking about CJ Stroud for the past month, 2 months. And I'm talking about all of these things that how Frank Reich, describes his, typical quarterback, what he wants in a quarterback. Tall, mobile, accurate. CJ Stroud. That is exactly who he described. CJ Stroud. Anthony Richardson is tall. He's mobile. He's very athletic. But the question is he accurate? He's not super accurate. There's a ton of guys who have been not accurate and come into the NFL and have been superstars. 2 names that I got real quick: Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton. They had like the same amount of accuracy percentage, something like that. And Anthony Richardson just is like right around that same exact number. I'm not saying that Anthony Richardson is going to come in and be Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton, but he has the potential, to be as good or better than them. But yeah, with how much, CJ Stroud fills in what Frank Reich wants in a quarterback, he's that guy that the Panthers are going to pick. I think that's who they should pick. If they pick Bryce Young, I'll be happy with that. Franchise quarterback for 5 years. He might be good, He might be good. He might not even have to, we might not even have to worry about his size because of how good he is. But then if they bring in Anthony Richardson, there's going to be a lot of, controversy around that pick with how much they traded up for, how much they gave away to just go up and pick a guy who could have been there at 9. I think, and also Josh McCown on the Underdog Fantasy, YouTube channel. I talked about this in previous videos. He's, scouted a lot of these quarterbacks coming out of college in this draft. And he scouted CJ Stroud a few months ago. And he had so much high praise for him. He said so many good things about him. And Frank Reich to bring him in as a quarterback coach, I think that just proves to me that they want to pick him. And after them, obviously they traded to the number 1 overall pick to get first dibs on whoever they want. I think they're going to pick CJ Stroud, and I think that's who they should pick. CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are back and forth, in my head. But I think I'm really leaning towards CJ Stroud, and I hope the Panthers do pick him because he has the size advantage. I think he's more accurate than Bryce Young. Probably not as mobile, because he's taller. He's kind of heavier than him. Bryce Young, he definitely put on, a couple pounds, maybe, tens of pounds, just, to appear bulkier, or more bulk, either way to say it, at the combine, because he was 207, and then he came in through Alabama, I think 195, I think that's how much he weighed, which is really light, because one of the things is also another thing, if he gets, just destroyed by a sack, whoever, you can name any defensive tackle, Vita Vea, for example, he's massive, and, he could just get the wind knocked out of him, and he can't play, potentially, or, over, along, as the game progresses, he could just keep getting hit and hit and hit, and he can't take that, and someone like CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, they can definitely take those hits because they are bigger and taller, and that's just unfortunate for Bryce Young's situation. That's why there's so much controversy around him, because if he's so much smaller than all these other guys, and I think if Bryce Young does get picked by the Panthers, like I said, I'm not going to be complaining. Franchise quarterback is on the way for the first time. Let me think. Since Cam Newton, 12 years ago is when the Panthers, got the number 1 overall pick and they picked Cam Newton. Panthers just signed another defensive lineman. Panthers are going off. Let's just sidetrack here because, the video, you guys know what my answer is. I think the Panthers should pick CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud should be a Panther. April 27th. Draft chime plays. Carolina Panthers select in the 2023 NFL Draft. CJ Stroud, Ohio State, quarterback. That's who they need to pick. The Carolina Panthers need to select CJ Stroud because of how accurate he is. He's called himself, a football placement specialist. That just says all you need to know. And all these things about what I've already previously said and summarized. Josh McCown having such high praise for him. Frank Reich saying all the things that he likes in a quarterback. Tall, mobile, accurate. Accuracy was one of those main points that he said accurate. Something along those lines. That just describes CJ Stroud for you. and I think that's the perfect pick. They made a right decision to be aggressive, go up, get your guy at number 1 before anybody else can, because the Raiders are about to do that too. They were before the Raiders. The Bears like DJ more than, Raiders trading. I think it was just the picks. They would rather have a number 1 wide receiver. Really sad about that still, but, you got to do what you got to do to get a right, franchise quarterback. I think they made the right decision, like I've already said, going up, getting their guy. Whoever it is, I won't be mad, but I think the Panthers should pick CJ Stroud. Now, to go a little sidetrack, video's over on that side. Carolina, to summarize their offseason right now, they have had a really, really good offseason. I mean, they traded the pick for the pick, that boom, started it. Hired a new head coach, Frank Reich, really, really good head coach. And then there's the staff that they've hired. Ejiro Evero, defensive coordinator. Thomas Brown, offensive coordinator. Josh McCown, quarterback coach. Adrian Wilson is another. He was a former player, and he's, I think, senior assistant, something like that. I don't really remember all the positions, but they have all these guys. The defensive backs coach, D'Angelo Hall. Jim Caldwell, I think assistant head coach, something like that. Dom Capers, another guy. I think he's also an assistant head coach. Just a bunch of these veteran coaches coming in, around Frank Reich. Frank Reich, a veteran head coach. He's a well-known guy, a well-known coach in this league. They hired a really, really good staff. And free agency started this week. They signed Andy Dalton, a veteran quarterback, another, veteran presence on this team. Trade for the pick. They trade away our number 1 wide receiver. But then they signed Miles Sanders, 4 years. Brand new news to me, live reaction. They signed a new defensive lineman. They signed a defensive tackle, Shai Tuttle, who is deemed to be the dark horse or the glue that stuck everything together on that defensive line in New Orleans, I've heard. And then Hayden Hurst today as well. Hayden Hurst? You gotta be kidding me. Hayden Hurst is such an underrated tight end, and the Panthers, he's probably their best tight end in years since Greg Olsen left 5 years ago. Crazy offseason. I know I'm forgetting. Oh, Von Bell. Sorry. Von Bell, elite signing. That was so underrated. Completely off my radar and a lot of people's radars. Surprise signing. He comes in. He's going to play that safety position next to Xavier Woods. And Chin is going to go back to linebacker where he started. Super exciting. Anyways, to summarize, CJ Stroud needs to be picked for the Panthers. I think that's the consensus number 1 overall pick. There's a lot of people's favorites. He's the favorite to get picked. I think that's who they need to pick. I've been talking about him for months, and I'm not kidding about him. He is that guy, and he's going to come in, and he's going to start, and he's going to be really, really good, especially around this team that they're signing, and they're keeping the offensive line, everyone from last year. Come on. Their offensive line, if they stay healthy all year, and if Stroud can have protection, he's already a perfect pocket passer. Think about that. I'm just so excited about this, you guys. I've been talking about the Panthers trading up and getting their guy for weeks, months on end, basically. And you guys know this. And I cannot express how I feel about this. I guess you could say I'm just super excited, because that's how much this means to me and millions of Panthers fans. This is amazing. Just a brand new era in Carolina Panthers history. A new offensive-minded head coach with a new franchise quarterback with an insane team around him. And let me know what you guys think about this. Obviously, there's going to be a couple people, you guys might disagree with my opinion. You guys might think Bryce Young is the consensus number 1 overall pick, or you might prefer Anthony Richardson. Let me know. Let me know also, what you guys think about all the free agency signings this offseason already. It's only been 3 days. Isn't that nuts? What do you guys think about all this? I'm super stoked, as you guys can already tell. That's all I got for you guys. Take care. See you guys later. Peace.